How do penguins mate? Hello, curious minds. I received a question from one of our viewers, and for some reason, my brain decided to obsess over penguins. They are so cute with their little tuxedo feathers and waddle, right? But then I thought, how do they even mate? Like, do they have a love life? How do they pull it off on ice with those tiny legs and wings that can't even help them fly? And then I realized this was definitely a midnight question. So let's dive into the world of penguin romance. First of all, penguins take mating pretty seriously. Most species are monogamous, meaning they stick to one partner for the entire breeding season and sometimes for life. And yes, they have a courtship routine. When the season starts, the males get to the nesting grounds early to snag the best spot. Then they start calling, loud braying sounds that are basically their version of a love song. It's not subtle, but it works. If a female likes the sound of his voice, she waddles over to check him out. But wait, there's more. Some species, like the Adelie penguins, don't just rely on charm. They bring gifts. The males pick out the smoothest, prettiest pebble they can find and present it to the female. If she accepts it, they are officially a couple. Together, they will start building a nest with pebbles and grass. It's teamwork at its cutest. Now, let's talk about how they actually mate. Penguins, like most birds, don't have external reproductive organs. Instead, they have a cloaca, an all-purpose opening for reproduction, laying eggs, and well, going to the bathroom. During mating, the male climbs onto the female's back. It's a bit of a balancing act, especially since penguins aren't exactly graceful. Then they do something called a cloacal kiss. It's quick and not as romantic as it sounds, but it gets the job done. Here's how it works. The male's cloaca transfers sperms into the female's cloaca. From there, the sperm travels up her reproductive tract and fertilizes the eggs waiting inside. The whole thing takes just a few seconds, but it's all they need. Once the eggs are fertilized, the female lays one or two, depending on the species, and the real teamwork begins. After the eggs are laid, the parents take turns incubating them under a special flap of skin called a brood pouch. One keeps the eggs warm while the other heads off to hunt for food, sometimes trekking across icy wastelands to get back with a belly full of fish. And when the eggs hatch, both parents stick around to care for their fluffy chicks, teaching them how to survive. And here's the sweetest part. Many penguins find their way back to the same mate year after year, even in a huge noisy colony. They recognize each other by their unique calls, like a penguin version of "Honey, I'm home." So that's how penguins mate, complete with love songs, pebbles, teamwork, and a little bit of clumsy balancing. Cute, right? Curious minds, does penguin romance live up to the hype? Let me know what you think. That's it for today's episode of Midnight Question. I hope you enjoyed this cute dive into the frozen world of penguin romance. If you've got more curious wild questions, drop them in the comments and maybe we'll explore them in our next episode. I'm Mari and this is Midnight Question.